Hello, and welcome back to the Sitting Duck, a Town of Duck podcast. Today we are continuing with our little mini profile so you get to know the town's elected officials. Today I'm joined by someone who you've more than likely seen not just at our council meetings, but throughout the greater Dare County community, as she is very involved. I would like to welcome, with that, our Mayor, Monica. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having us.
Of
I really
course.
am enjoying this whole idea of getting to know everyone.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah.
you.
And like I explained, this is just an opportunity for our listeners to get to know the people that sit at the dais and make the sausage, as it was, just to know that, there's not just a body sitting in a chair. It's people that make up our community, and just to get to know the human side of who you are. So yes, you are mayor, and we will kind of delve into that a little bit, but um I just want to chat with you and get to know who is Monica. So I'm going to actually let you kind of start us off here. And can you tell us just a little bit about yourself?
Oh, sure. Absolutely. I have been living in Duck full time since 1988, and I own and manage Carolina Designs Realty, which I'm the managing owner since 91. So I'm in the business of welcoming people to Duck. And, even today, I just saw a family walking through the park and it just warms my heart thinking of all the fun memories that are being made. Before I moved here permanently, I had started coming down in the early 70s to the little flat tops where, as a kid, where you couldn't even see the beach, even though you were oceanfront and I was either sleeping on the floor or a very thin mattress with no washer dryer and, no TV, of course, like a little grill out back and just in the water all day long and just loving it. Just love the Outer Banks. And it's kind of fun now that I'm helping folks enjoy coming down here. And of course, the amenities have really improved, not only washer dryers and multiple TVs, but, everything else, hot tubs, pools, you name it. So I think this area is so wonderful, and I've been really lucky to be a part of it for so long. I have 5 kids altogether, 2 step kids. My husband, Art, and I we were together almost 30 years, and sadly, he passed away about 16 years ago. But, yeah, we came down together and Art was a huge part of helping Carolina Designs become the company that it is today, with his software expertise and one of the first, uh, companies to do real-time availability online and just watching all the cool technology that we were able to implement in our business was a big part of getting us to be really efficient and as a company, we just want everyone to have a great experience, so we try to really focus on quality, and so that makes me happy too. So I don't know, Art's still with us every day. That's the name of our software is Advanced Reservation Technology that he wrote, and so we talk about Art every day. But yeah, we had 3 children together, and 2 of them are working with me in the business now, which I love. My youngest is out in Chicago with a PhD in physics, so he's pretty impressive. And my 2 stepkids are wonderful and live up in upstate New York and definitely love the Outer Banks as much as all of us do. So it's great. Uh, my mom lives in Duck and my aunt, and so I've had a lot of family members follow me down here. It's kind of fun having this much family in the area, and yeah, it's been a really wonderful community to live in and grow in, and I really love being on the town council. I've been on the council since the very first election, so 2003. And someone said, "Well, how did you get interested in it?" Well, um, I was on the incorporation committee because I noticed that we just wanted to do sidewalks in Duck. We just wanted to be able to walk around, and we were unincorporated back in the early days in the 90s, and raising kids here, we just wanted a little bit more of a community feel. So we noticed that, the town, uh, we had to tax ourselves and have a special referendum on being able to tax ourselves to do the sidewalks, which we did with Joe Britt and some other really great community leaders. That kind of led us into the idea of I was always very involved with the Duck Civic Association as well and just tried to volunteer where I could. But when we got a chance to become a town, that was really amazing. And then someone asked me, "Well, why don't you run?" And so it was interesting that it wasn't anything I was planning on doing, but and now here I've been pretty much on every council. So now I'm mayor, and I love that too. And I think what I do bring is a little bit of history to the community and some just being on it for this long. So anyway,
Well, no, that's such a cool story, and thank you for sharing all of that, and I think it's so great too that, you said you started coming down here in the '70s and you moved here in the '88, right? And so you really do have deep roots here from growing up and then growing your family. So, and I'm really glad you brought up art because I think that's really cool that you get to continue his legacy and, and remember him and live by him. So that's really cool, and thank you for sharing that little tidbit there.
absolutely, yeah,
So, let's kind of take a little bit of a road trip because I love seeing old pictures. There's a great Facebook page, Outer Banks Vintage Scrapbook, and I don't know if you've ever seen it, but it's fascinating to, see pictures from the olden days and just how much the Outer Banks has changed. And change is inevitable, but it's always fun to kind of reminisce. So, let's think back to when you started coming down here. If you're driving through Southern Shores, what was it like when you got to the Ducktown line? Like, what did you see? Let's take a drive, like, down Duck Road. Take us down that way.
absolutely. Well, first of all, I have to say that as a kid, as I said, I just went to the beach, and that was as far as I ever went. But going down, looking on Duck Road, you had the blinking light, which we still have. That's where the road splits and heads up into Duck, and that's where the phone booth was. So if you needed to make a call, that's where you were going, was to the phone booth. And then similarly, if you needed to do laundry for any reason, you were going into Kill Devil Hills, which was like 158 was pretty barren. Folks will tell you, like Captain Frank stands out as one of the original things you could do in down here. And of course, we made a pilgrimage to Captain Frank's and the mini golf course. I think it's Galaxy Golf back in those days, which is down in Nags Head on the beach road. Uh, and then there was a laundromat that I think my grandmother used to go to. I didn't ever go to the laundromat, but there wasn't much down there. Ben Franklin's, a few, of course, Winks, and Winks was up here in Duck, and down in Winks down in Kitty Hawk. So, yeah, it's fun to see those original places. And they were few and far between. We'd go down to Jockey's Ridge, of course. We'd always like to go over to well, there was the Galleon back in those days, and that was kind of a fun shopping adventure, except I was always, like, really sunburned, and my mom would try to get me to try on something, and I was just so burnt, but, anyway, and then we'd go over to the, Christmas tree shop, a Christmas, gallery over at, in Manio, which was always a fun little adventure. So, we had our favorite little things we would do, but, there wasn't a whole lot going on, and when you came up into Duck, yeah, it was practically a dirt road. I remember in the early '80s, going up, and of course, you'd have a guard gate when you got out of Duck and were trying to go to Ocean Sands, and even back in those days, we were considering property. We were a young, couple and, just married and thought, "Well, maybe we'll look at property." So, we made an appointment with a realtor up in Corolla and, stopped at that guard gate and had the appointment, but then we said, "Well, let's take a quick turn before we get to our appointment," and they followed us. I mean, it was crazy. I think we looked like we were maybe too young or something, so they followed us like, "Well, I thought you were going to this appointment." "Well, we were, but we're just gonna go down this side street." So that was kinda crazy. I was happy when they got rid of the guard gate, but yeah, Duck was always just a quiet little bend in the road, very few houses, obviously not even the building that we're in now. We built that in '93, and that was just an open piece of property. When we bought our property across the street at Carolina Designs, before that, we were where Sweet Teas is, and we were crammed into this really tiny little space, but then when we bought that land, Duck Landing wasn't there, that subdivision, and, we helped with the road access because it was a piece of landlocked property behind Schooner Ridge. So, when we bought the land, we split off a third of it for for the road access for Duck Landing, and then we built next to Kellogg's, so it's pretty interesting. I will say a little shout out to, Elmo, who was okay, right across from the Duck Church was when we were first in our building by where Sweet Teas is. Well, now where DVO is and, the gas station. Okay. That was, Elmo, and his mom had been one, as I understand it, one of the original school teachers across the street at where the Duck, Methodist Church is, and, so Elmo was his, was the son that now is a much older man that when I met him, and he had a trailer right there where the gas station is now. The tree was maintained, which I love, but that was so he just lived in a little trailer right next to us, and he loved to go play bingo with my grandmother, so there was some bingo affection and they'd go all the way to, like, where'd they go? Grandy, I think, to go play bingo once a week, and then down at the Lions Club, and then down at the fire station, Ag Said. So they were definitely into their bingo, and it just cracked me up. But yeah, things were a little slow back in those days.
So did you have any experience with like, I've talked to some people who spent early days here and, they would spend their evenings in the Sound trying to catch that evening's dinner. Did you ever do anything like that? Like go fishing or crabbing?
Yeah, we did fish a lot, but on the ocean side. We didn't do the sound fishing as much. But yeah, surf fishing was really fun. Art was really into that, and we would go down a lot and fish. Not sure we caught a lot of dinner doing it, but we definitely caught some good stuff. And go out in the pier a little bit too, but just surf fishing was really a lot of fun in those early days. And then, we got into the water sports just like everyone. Boogie boarding got to be really popular with the fins and surfing and all that. So, yeah, we didn't do as much on the Sound. We've had a few vessels over the years, now. So, but the Sound is just so beautiful. We're so lucky to have it. I think we're lucky it's kind of so shallow because you don't get a lot of boats and it's just so pristine and just the birds are just so beautiful.
It is. We're very fortunate to be where we are, and it's always kind of mind-blowing sometimes when you can, look to your right and see the Sound and look to your left and see the ocean, and it's kind of, I don't know, mind-boggling sometimes, but it is. It's beautiful, and it's so cool to live here. But if you were to describe your perfect day in Duck, what would that be?
Wow. Okay. Well, doesn't seem like there's a day that goes by that I don't work, but
Okay,
uh,
no working involved.
okay. No, I think it would be catching the sunrise, just like you said, would be the way I'd start. I love an early morning walk and just getting down onto the beach and just being there and just feeling the magnificent ocean and just all that it can bring in nature, Mother Nature. It's unbelievable. So yeah, that starting there, probably a little bit of time at home again with the working that I do. It's just nice to be home and uh, maybe just a little bit of maybe a walk through town and have a nice lunch with a friend. That would be perfect. And I do like to shop in Duck too, I have to say. I like to give the locals, my business, so it'd be fun to just browse around, maybe the bookstore and one of the shops, the clothing shops, and, nowadays, toys for my grandkids because I have 4 of them and Kitty Hawk, and, which is great. And then yeah, and then just maybe watching the sunset. I think that would be great. A nice relaxing wandering day, maybe no
I
car
love that.
involved whatsoever.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
love that. I love especially bopping around to the different shopping centers, and I kinda wanna go back. You mentioned bookstore, so you a reader?
I try to be, but, not as much as I'd like. When I'm on vacation, I can definitely pick up a book, and I like nonfiction, I like history, but I love a good story too, so
Do you have a book that would be your go-to beach read?
oh gosh. There's nothing probably just one of those fun mysteries like, like I'm trying to think of that author that did Gone Girl or
Oh, Gillian Flynn.
yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm,
yes.
and, all the I'm not a I wish I was a little more of the in the classics, of reading. I have a lot of books on my shelf, and I have family members that are amazing readers. They put me to shame, but, No, I get intrigued with a book. I have probably like 10 on my, nightstand, and I'll dabble in all of them, and, get through them occasionally, finally get through them. But, can't even remember the last book I read was Out of Africa, which was really good. That was an interesting read.
Because you also just recently went
Yeah,
to
I went to
Africa, didn't
Africa,
you?
which was really great. I can now say that I've been on every continent,
No
which
way.
yeah, that's why I
Really?
really was kinda anxious to see Africa, and so I just went to Kenya. Of course, it's like going to the United States and saying you've been to the United States if you've only been to one particular region, but in Kenya, I was able to see 3 different beautiful kind of, climates, and, very north, kinda arid and red earth, and then in like the Sarara area, then we went to, this place called Varana, which was very high plains, and, just again, another conservation area that was just incredible, and then finally down to more of a, wet forested area called the Masai Mara, and that was, beautiful too, very wet, so I got to see a lot of amazing animals, which is exactly what I went to see. I wanted to go see animals, and we safaried in the mornings and at night, and again, it's just the beauty of the earth. I was feeling very, very fortunate to see those animals and, experience, just what Africa has to offer from those gorgeous, gorgeous animals. We're so lucky.
I kinda wanted to ask because you made me think of this, but when you do trips like that where you get to experience, a different culture and to see things that are just so meaningful, do you feel like you carry any of that into your role as not even just a mayor, but just like a person? Do you feel like some of that you bring home with you and it changes you?
That's a great question. I do think travel just expands you, makes you I live in gratitude every day, and it just comes naturally to me because I feel like there's so much to be grateful for. But yeah, you see how fortunate we are to live, as we do in our country, and, compared to some other folks, and I've traveled pretty much all my life, and, have always just come back really appreciative of what we have and try to be mindful of what other people, are going through in their world, and we all struggle, we all have challenges, we all have things to be grateful for, but yeah, just kind of just knitting us all together as humanity. I mean, there's so much more that is makes us the same as does makes us different, but yeah, when I go travel, I try to really appreciate the local folks, and, just, understand them a little more, and I think that helps me as we welcome people down here. I mean, you're
Right.
seeing people from everywhere here, and they're all coming. This is their one time to just kind of unwind a little and enjoy something different, so I try to roll out the red carpet for everybody that visits our area.
Right. I love that, and I love the aspect of humanity, and I've said it several times in lots of different things, but we're all human at the end of the day, and it's amazing what we can learn from one another, and just to be able to have that experience coupled with, being open-minded and grateful and bringing it. So, I don't know, that was more of like a personal question for me, but
No,
no, I
it's
think it's
true. It
interesting.
really is true. And then also you can be a good ambassador for being an American, like as you go to other places and they can find out about what we're like.
Do you have any future trips planned, or what's next on your bucket list?
I have a lot of places I'd still like to go. I've never been to New Zealand. I think Iceland. I do think I like the water. I like
Yeah.
being near water. But those are two on my list. But when I hear of a place I haven't been, I always kind of light up and say,
Yeah.
I want to go there.
Would you do the camping loop in Iceland? Do you know what I'm talking about? Where you can get, like, those camper vans, and you can drive, like, the route around the.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of that. Yeah, that might be it, and, I've never been to Ireland, and I can't
Yeah.
believe that because I have green eyes, I have Scotch-Irish heritage, and, a lot of my family have been there, so I'd like to go and maybe do a little history tracking.
Oh, there's so much history there.
Yeah.
That'd be really cool. I know there are also, I guess I seem to know about driving loops in countries, but there are different travel guides where you can rent a car and drive, like, a certain loop through Ireland, and
Yeah.
I don't know. There you go. If you need a loop idea, I've got them.
Okay.
No, that's so cool, and I love that you're still, a seeker of the world, and the world's such a big place, and it's always really cool to see those things and bring them here to Duck on the edge of the country, and
Yeah.
just to have that leach through. So that's really cool. So when you're thinking about all of this, we're kind of getting towards the end here, but if if you were to give someone a piece of advice, or if there's one thing you kind of just wanted to put out in the world to all of us as people, what's something that you'd want to put out there? What's your message for the day?
Okay. Well, I think I'll go back to that gratitude and counting blessings and things like that. And I'm an optimist. I always think of things could be worse, for example, or and I've always said at least we're all together. My kids joke with me when I say when we're going through something dark, I'll be like, well, at least we're all together. And so eh, I think that the idea of just kind of trying to find that bright spot and trying to look around what you have and be grateful for it is something, that I mean, I get up in the morning, and maybe it's because 'cause I'm getting older, but I'm just like, "Everything's working, let me just" I'm so happy.
Yeah.
So, I think I just try to enjoy every day because we don't know, how long we're gonna have on the earth, and, I think we just have to I heard that recently, someone saying, if you knew you only had another week, or a limited amount of time, whatever it was, you might see the world a little differently and kinda get on it, so that's how I try to think along those lines and, just make sure that there's something that you've done every day that you can kinda say, "That was good," so and because some people I know we can all get in a grind, I'm guilty of it myself, but, uh, you just have to kind of take a step back, take a deep breath, and just enjoy what you got and live in the moment a little bit more. Yeah.
No, I love that, and one of my favorite sayings that I reference often, and in the moment when you're in the midst of something, dark or troublesome that's going on, it might not hit the same, but the saying is, "Every day might not be good, but there's good in every day."
Mm,
And, like you said, kinda taking a step back and looking for those little bright moments or glimmers, it can really change your perspective, and it's important, especially today,
yeah,
And
exactly,
so
exactly, and, yeah, I'm very lucky, I get a lot of joy from these new little grandkids in my life, and I love little ones, so I'm excited to kinda help them enjoy, every day too and just play a little bit with them.
Aw.
Yeah.
I bet you're a fun grandma. You're Yeah, I bet you have a lot of fun, and they have a lot of fun with you too, so
I love them. Yeah. So it's really yeah, I appreciate you wanting to get to know me a little bit more, and anybody is welcome to I always joke I'm stuck in duck, but happily. And so, I live and volunteer here as much as I can. So,
well,
yeah, it's a
good.
great spot.
Well, thank you so much. This has been such a great conversation. I feel like I haven't stopped smiling the entire and same for you. You've been smiling the entire time. I hope when people listen to this, they can hear the joy radiating from you because that's just the kind of person you are. So, is there anything else that you wanted to add?
No, just, I hope other people will, volunteer more too and step up and, yeah, get involved. I love the Flock Academy that we've done, and, there's something similar with the Chamber of Commerce where people can kinda get to know the community, these leadership, things, and it is just we're all in it together, right? So everyone has something to offer. I won't be doing this forever, and so I hope other people will follow me and take my invitation to get involved and do something and for your community. And it's a great feeling. It doesn't have to take consume you fully, and it's very enriching. So
It is to give back, to a place that's giving you so much. It's very fulfilling. So I love that. Well, thank you again. This has been such a great conversation, and I've enjoyed having you on here. Thank you again, and thank you for listening to the Sitting Duck, a Town of Duck podcast. Be sure to like this episode and follow us on social media to help us get the word out. Stay tuned for more of these little profile interviews so you get to know more of the people in our community. And for the latest on what's happening in the town of Duck, visit ducknc.gov.